Hashivenu Hashem Eilecha v'nashuva Hadeshomenu Hadeshomenu Kikadem. So at the bottom of 168, and we're talking about the whole idea of ayin, the fountain, and it's the same word for an eye. And just like in a fountain, you only see a part of the water that's actually there. There's huge amounts of water there. Who was going to empty the you yesterday with the remixer? Anyway, so the thing is that our mothers are the ones who are able to teach us to see that there's so much more. Fathers teach the children on a very high level. However, he was talking about seeing with kisufim and sipiyah, seeing with yearning and outlook, deep outlook for the future. That you learn from your mother, right? That's what yes? Bottom of 168. Ha'abahu b'madrigat Torah shebichtav. Fathers are on the level of the written Torah. Torah shebichtav hi mamashit. The written Torah is something practical. Mamash is from the word l'mashmesh, which means to be. So it's reality. You can touch it. אפשר לפתוח חומש ולראות מילים. תורה שבכתב, you can open up a chumash and see words. Actually, sit with Moshe so that Michal can look inside his safer, okay? You okay, Michal? You had a drink? Take a drink. Actually, pour him a glass of water, please. You have to too. Okay. Amen. Michal say l'chaim, Michal. L'chaim, tovim v'l'sholem. So, fathers teach children Torah shebichtav, the written Torah, and it's very practical. Torah shebal peh, l'umat zot, the oral Torah, and distinction, he mash lo katuv, is what's not written. Eich magi'im eleha, how do you get Torah shebal peh? Right? How did the Shabbos Mevorchim, right? It's going to be Hanukkah in a month from this Sunday night. Right? How do you get to the level that you understand what the Torah wants you to do now? Right? So it says Bezrat Kisufim. It's because you're yearning to know what does Hashem want you to do now. How does Hashem want you to understand the Torah? Rak Kisufim is only through yearning. Torah shebichtav, hamadriga shel anochi Hashem Elokecha, nitenet lechol Yehudi. The written Torah and the level of the words Hashem is saying, I am Hashem your God, that every Yid has access to it. Aval lechol Yehudi b'fnei atzmo. But besides that, it's being given to every Jew individually. B'Torah shebal peh, hagaguim kol kach amukim, but with Torah shebal peh, top of 169, the yearning is so deep. Shehi nitenet la'am Yisrael k'lo ke'echad. It's given to all the people of Israel as one. K'shani lamed Torah shebal peh, u'mitkasher lahavin mashu, when I'm learning the oral Torah and I'm having a hard time understanding something, אני צריך לרצות בכל ליבי להוריד מלמעלה את ההבנה האמיתית. I need to desire with my entire heart to bring down the true understanding. For whom? עבור עם ישראל כולו. I need to yearn to bring it down for all of Israel. זהו אליעזר עבד אברהם. This is the madrega that Eliezer was on, Abraham's servant. שחז"ל אומרים עליו שהיה דולה ומשקה. The rabbis say that Eliezer was דולה ומשקה. He drew and he watered. Right? He drew from the well and from Abraham Avinu, and he was able to provide for everybody else. Eliezer פתח את השערים של תורה שבעל פה. He opened the gates of the oral Torah. הוא הראשון שחידש משהו מעצמו. He's the first one in the Torah that we see him doing something on his own. a חידש. אברהם אבינו הוא תורה שבכתב. הוא אמר לאליעזר רק כי אל ארצי ואל מולדתי תלך ולקחת אישי לבני יצחק. ליצחק. Abraham said to Eliezer, just go to the country I come from, to my birthplace, and bring a wife for my son Yitzchak. מניין בא אליעזר כל העניין של הסימנים. So where did Eliezer get the whole thing about making a sign that he should figure out who is going to be the right wife for Yitzchak? ממעייני הישועה. You see how Reb Shlomo is mamish taking all these words of ayin, mayan, etc., bringing it all together from the fountains of salvation. Eliezer omer va'avo hayom el ha'ayin. Eliezer says, I came today to the fountain. Umatai gila et ha'mayan. And when did he discover the fountain? When did he find it? La'et erev, in the evening. Right? Kishematchil ha'chshich, when it's getting dark. Eliezer havin shu adayin lo yodea klum. In other words, he understood. In other words, Reb Shlomo was interpreting here that, in other words, that he came there la'et erev. That means that he comes to a place where he realizes, Gewalt, I don't really understand anything. I don't know anything. לפעמים אני מתבונן בחומש והכל חשוך. Sometimes I'm thinking deeply, I'm learning some chumash, and everything is dark. אני פותח גמרא וזה חשוך. I open a Gemara and it's all dark. ואז אני זוכה להגיע למעיין. Then I get to reach the fountain. ולחדש חידושים. Then I get to come up with new insights into the Torah. In other words, you have to get to a place where you can say, like, wow, I don't know anything. And then when you say, I don't know anything, okay, I don't understand anything, I don't know anything, then you really yearn and you pray for Hashem to open it up and to get a deeper understanding, right? So long as you think that you know what there is to know, so then you're not going to get anything new, right? And that's the whole thing of Torah Sheba'al Peh. That we realize that you don't know, right? Reb Shlomo once told us that sometimes they would be sitting in yeshiva and learning a little piece of Gemara for days and going through all the meforshim and until they finally realized, still don't understand anything. And when they came to that place where they realized, Gewalt, I don't understand anything, then it opened up and they began to understand.
But there is a time when someone said, I don't know anything, and they really don't.
That's right. Well, there's a difference between somebody who didn't learn and saying, I don't know anything, and somebody who's learning and they realize, wow, this is so deep, I still don't get it. We can sit and learn a piece of Gemara 50 times and 49 times you think that you got it, and the 50th time you realize, wait a minute, there's so much here I didn't even get yet. Yeah.
The process that you're describing reminds me of something I learned from 12-step, which I was not very but I knew someone was in it. It's called letting go. I once was in a very, very difficult place.
Yeah, got it.
And someone said to me, are you going to let go? Are you going to let go and let go?
Come here.
Are you going to let go and let God?
You need to let Hashem into it, right?
Are you going to let go and let God? And I didn't answer for a minute. So you can answer my question. I said, do you want a real answer? Or do you just want an answer that's superficial?
Yeah.
I thought about it for a while. I did let go. And
then the gates opened up.
Came to me.
That's right. That's what's being said. Okay, but first, but in learning, first you have to really try to learn whatever is available there. You understand and to realize that you don't get it yet. Okay. So Hazoh Hakadosh Omer Eliezer Chashav La'atzmo, the whole Zohar says that Eliezer thought, Mi ani sheshadech shiduch kazeh. Who am I to be the shadchan for Yitzchak? רק מי שיודע את סוד הכיסופים והגעגועים. So Reb Shlomo explains, only someone who knows the secret of yearning, יכול להתבונן בעצמו, can actually think that way, ולומר and say, אוי ויי, זה ממש לא מגיע לי, I don't deserve it. אלו הם הכיסופים הכי עמוקים. That's the deepest yearning. שמגיעים ממש מעומק הנשמה, that you get to it from the depth of the soul. כשהלך אלiezer לחפש אישה ליצחק, so when Eliezer went to find a wife for Yitzchak, זכה למעיין, his wife's name is Mayan. Okay, so the only then that he married to get to the fountain. Vavo hayom el ha'ayin. That's why he says, and today I came to the fountain. Right? Ein sfor sha'arim niftechu lo, an infinite number of gates opened up for him. The Mayan hakatan hazeh, with this little fountain. Who he beat ba'atzmo v'chashav. He looked at himself and he thought, Li ze lo magia, I don't deserve it. But bevakasha Hashem, aseh l'man Avraham Avinu, but Hashem, please, for the sake of Avraham Avinu, please do it for his sake. Right? So, and that's true in so many aspects of life. For example, there were rabbis that didn't want their chassidim to have regular salary jobs. They wanted them to start to go into business, because that way they would have to, like mamish, pray every day, Like when you have a regular salary job, I came into the office 9 to 5 or whatever, 8 to 4, did my job, I deserve it, right? And you don't think about, maybe I don't deserve it, type of thing, right? And that you really have to pray for it. Also in shidduchim, sometimes some people think, oh, I deserved, this shidduch. But the truth of the matter is, it's all chasdei Hashem, and the deepest relationship is when you appreciate it. When you appreciate that, I don't really think that I deserved it. It's really a gift from Hashem, And the same thing with this is like Moshe Rabbeinu warns us in before coming into Eretz Yisrael, that Eretz Yisrael is a very blessed country. It's a very rich country. Even to this very day, the Israeli cows give more milk than any other cows in the world. Okay, 1 dunam of land produces more vegetables than most everywhere else. It's a very blessed country, and the danger is that when the wealth comes in, you begin to think that kochi v'otzem yadi asuri etachayil. I say that it was my strength and my prowess, my intelligence that achieved all this, right? And we have to. That's why Birkat Hamazon is so important, right? To be grateful and to give thanks, because to realize it's not really mine. It's not my wisdom. Yeah, you're smart. You're a genius. How did you become that way? You grabbed some brains before you were born? What did you do? What did you do to get it? Hashem gave you the gift so that you should use it in the best way possible, right? So yesh shtei madrigot shel chesed. Now, how do you access all those things that you need, all those things that we need? Is to yearn for it and to say, Ribono Shel Olam, please give me the means to do what you want me to do in this world. Okay? So yesh shtei madrigot shel chesed. There's two levels of chesed. Yesh chesed shena'asa ba'ofen shel einayim pekuchot. There's kindness that is done with open eyes. Ani ro'eh lema ata zakuk. I see what you need. V'im ata ra'ev, and if you're hungry, ani machil otcha, I feed you. Yesh chesed b'madriga shel kisufim lema shemei ever. Then there's chesed which is coming through yearning for something which is beyond. Me'ever lema she'einayim misugalot lirot, something which is beyond what your eyes are capable of seeing. He's going to explain. כשרבקה השקטה את הגמלים מים, you know, there's a Reb Levi Yitzchak Kabadishik once said that he learned his biggest lesson in Ahavat Yisrael from two Russian drunkards. One night he was walking and he saw two Ruskies, and one says to the other, Boris, and they were drunk, and one says, he says, not Boris, a Polish name, Vlad, do you love me? And Vlad says, of course I love you. She says, well, if you love me, how come you don't know what I need? Okay. Right? So, זה בא מתוך המדרגה של כיסופים, right? The chesed that's coming through that kind of chesed, which is beyond what you see, that is through yearning, right? So he's saying that כשרבקה השקטה את הגמלים מים, זה בא מתוך המדרגה של כיסופים. When Rivka gave water to the camels, it was through the chesed of yearning. לא הגמלים ולא אלiezer היו זקוקים למים. The truth of the matter is that Eliezer wasn't traveling without water. Neither the camels nor Eliezer needed water. Eliezer ish chazak, he was a strong man. Hu yachol l'sharet et atzmo v'et gmalav. He was able to go down to the well and get the water himself and water his camels by himself. אבל רבקה הביטה על אלiezer ועל הגמלים במבט של כיסופים למה שמעבר. So Rivka was looking at Eliezer and at the camels with a view of beyond. She wanted to give them something more than they themselves realized or that they knew that they needed. So even if this camel already drank, maybe he needs one more drop. רק עוד טיפה אחת, one more drop. ואת הטיפה הזו, אני משקה אותו באהבה גדולה, and with this drop of water, I'm giving him with great love. Right? In other words, sometimes you know, the person thinks they don't need anything, but because they think that they have everything, but they don't have the connection with beyond. Okay, they don't have the connection with something beyond, and you know, for example, we have time. For example, somebody asks you for a glass of water, right? She poured you a glass of water. I hope that you not only got the water, you also got something beyond. I've noch nicht gegeben. Kannst du geben jetzt? We gave him then. Okay, good. So what's pshat? The rest Yiddish? A bisschen. No. Okay.
Können wir uns again classes?
Yeah. Habe ich lustig gesagt, Classes.
Klassen.
Nicht Klassen auch nicht.
Klassen.
Shirim.
Shirim is very good.
I know, but the Klassen is not Yiddish. Lectures.
Lectures.
You walk in Williamsburg and say, you see signs in Yiddish. Big sale. in Yiddish.
Yeah.
No,
So,
groß is sale.
Die
Anyway,
Geschichten suchen ja, kennen ja so eine Klasse.
yeah. Anyway, so the mitzvah of kedoshim tihiyu, to be holy. So Chassidut explains, what does it mean to be holy? It means to be transparent to your source. Okay. For example, you're listening to two musicians, and they're both equally good. They're both playing the same piece of music beautifully, and one is holy and one is not quite. What's the difference between them? The difference is that the holy one basically becomes transparent. You don't really see them, and therefore you can connect to the same source that the musician is getting the music from. The one that isn't holy is handing out his business cards. He's saying, it's me who's doing this. You give somebody a glass of water on the level of Kedusha, you're thanking God that you had the opportunity to give somebody a glass of water, and the person who's receiving it is thinking, wow, I was thirsty, and Hashem heard my prayers, and Hashem is giving me a glass of water. On the level that's not Kadosh, I'm giving you a glass of water, and I want you to remember I did this for you. Right? So the same thing over here is that, what he's saying over here is that Rivka, she could have said to him, I'm 3 years old, you're a big guy, you got all these camels, you got all these servants, help yourself, what do you want from me, right? But she realizes that there's something that she wants to give him something beyond, and she doesn't have to give them a lot of water, just one drop. You understand? Just the idea is, I want to give you something. I want to connect you I want to connect you to the beyond. Same thing when you're learning Torah with people. You could learn Torah and you're learning like just what's written, what's said, or you could learn Torah on a level that when you're learning between the lines, but besides between the lines, that the person is thinking, is feeling like, wow, the Rebbeinu Shalom. I'm hearing God's words, and that's the idea that you have. But you have to get out of the way. You have to be transparent. So she wanted to give them something beyond, right? So lachen, we're in the third last line of the paragraph. Lachen afilu im hagamal hazeh kvar shata ze ata. I read it already, actually. Right, I'm just rereading that last sentence. So therefore, if the camel already just drank, maybe it needs one more drop. רק עוד טיפה אחת, one more drop, right? ואת הטיפה הזו, and this extra drop, אני משקה אותו באהבה גדולה. I give it to him with great love. Eliezer אומר לרבקה, so Eliezer says to Rivka, ועבור היום אל העין, באתי היום אל העיניים שלך. Now Reb Shlomo is giving another interpretation, and ועבור היום אל העין. Today I got to come to the level of your eyes. Oh boy. וראיתי שהן מתאימות ליצחק, and I've seen that your eyes are really the right eyes for Yitzchak. ראיתי אצלך עיניים שמתגעגעות ומשהו נשגב מאוד. I see your eyes are the eyes that are yearning for something exalted, very exalted. ראיתי עבור מה את מתגעגעת. I saw what it is you're yearning for. ראיתי עיניים שכוספות. I see eyes that are mamish yearning, עיניים של קדושה. Holy eyes, Elohein Einaim Shematimot Leben Adoni Yitzchak. These are the eyes that are appropriate for the son of my master, Yitzchak. Right. So the parsha on Shabbat Shalom. We're having Shalashudas and Message. On the simple level, the stories in this week's parsha seem to be like relatively ordinary stories. Okay, fine. So it's a little bit miraculous, right? And there's Kfisat HaDerech, and there's and like, he doesn't have to interview 100 girls till he finds Rivka, etc. Right? And it's all like, it's pretty evident that it's been a Shemayim. But in addition to what's what seems to be evident, what Reb Shlomo is teaching us over here is that there's so much more. Understand? How do you get in touch with the beyond? How do you, like, what is it that he sees in Rivka? What is the whole thing about? Why does the word ayin, mayan, why does that word keep on repeating itself? And those who've studied literature that know that in Hebrew literature they use the term milah mancha, like the guiding word, the word that that's calling for your attention. When you see a word that is being repeated in a passage again and again and again, it means that the text is calling your attention to that word, right? It's like stop and think about what is the depth of all what is the underlying message in that passage, right? And in music, you probably have a similar thing, right? So there's the fact that that it's the eye and that we're talking about water and we're talking about a fountain, etc. So what does it mean to draw water from a fountain? What does it mean to give water to somebody else? What are you giving them? What are you capable of giving them, etc. And that's all. And that's what's interesting is that this chapter, right? I think this is this chapter of the story of this parsha of the engagement of Rivka. If I'm not mistaken, it's either the longest or the second longest parak parsha in the Torah. Second longest
parak in the Torah.
It's got 69 psukim, I believe, right? And it's really amazing because the Torah tells us what happened, and then when Eliezer is telling Betuel and Laban the whole story, he repeats the whole thing, right? And the Torah is very, very conservative with language. So much so that the rabbis say from this parak, Yafes Sichatan shel Avadim, or the Avadim of the Avot, that there's so much to learn just from the way they spoke. The fact that the Torah is telling you again how he spoke, right? The Torah is telling you, read this again, read this again, read this again. There's much to learn from the way that he spoke. Understand? So it's not. It seems to be an ordinary story, but if it was just an ordinary story, you could have told the whole story in 5 psukim. Avram sends Eliezer to go find the wife of Rivka from somebody from his country, from his family. He went, he found her, came home. They called the caterer, Mazel Tov, set the chuppah, and they were married. Understand? But the Torah tells us all the details. Understand? So, for example, when you look back at your life and you see, okay, I started over here and I got to, that's point A, and now I'm at point B, right? But in between point A and point B, a whole bunch of different things happened, right? And those were all little important points. Even the ones that were not the best, they also contained deep lessons that every moment needs to be redeemed, meaning to say it needs to be brought into our Avodat Hashem to go to the next level.
Maybe it's not an accident that the longest story, because there's another parak I think on the so, which is longer, which is all each of the 12 tribes bring the exact same thing. Offering. So that's longer, but it's not a story. It's just. But here, this is an actual story. I think it's the longest.
That's also parshat. So it's also a story.
It's a story,
but it's telling you details. Yeah.
There's a lot of details. This is a story. The fact that it's a story about choosing a mate. Maybe there's a message there. But this is
you gotta have a good shotgun.
Good shot.
It's not only to have a good shotgun, but the process.
I understood you.
The process is very important.
I
It's more the good eyes.
It's not just getting from, as you said, it's not just getting from point A.
That's what I said.
The journey is a destination, not just the destination.
Exactly.
That's what I was saying.
Okay. With my words.
Yeah, good.
It's a different way of saying it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that it wasn't just of the journey's destination, but stuff on this particular point of how you choose a mate is extremely important. It has to be, and spend a lot of time.
Right, took him one
Thinking
day.
about it. But till you get to that point.
Okay, I understand.
So that to get to that point is our journey in life, not,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole-
Somebody
the whole
else.
search doesn't have to be,
And it will happen at once.
The journey alone is itself is destination. You don't need the destination to the journey itself is a destination. It's not only, but
the journey.
there's a lot of-
There's a re-beginning to everything every day. So
Well, that's something that we learned a couple of weeks ago, that a Jew has to realize that wherever you're at right now, it's not the end of something, it's the beginning of the next thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the end, it's the beginning. Okay, so forgive me for being late. Have a good Shabbos.
Yeah.
Shalom.